people ask me about it. I'm like, I don't know how to articulate this, but I wish I could put this in a bottle and hand it to someone so they could understand. I'm going to try and explain it now.
What's going on? Welcome back to the She's of the Band podcast here on Notfest. I am joined by Alex Reade of Make Them Suffer, all the way from Australia, now in our Floridian studio. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
And happy. This is the second time we've spoken, but finally in person, which is really nice.
Yeah, I mean,
always better.
We were saying, like, as soon as you came in, I mean, this is our first time meeting in person, but we've been following each other on Instagram since the first interview, like, 2 years ago.
I know, and it's been, maybe longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
So it just feels like I've known you this whole time.
I know, we're just constantly, hyping each other up online, and you've been so sweet. So I was just like, as soon as the opportunity presented itself to do this, it was a no-brainer. So
yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
And also really bizarre, because actually, this is the first interview I've done where I've been both the publicist and the journalist to set it up.
Yeah.
So, like, I honestly should have gone through a bit where I emailed myself an interview request and then approved myself.
Giving yourself a brief. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So thank you for being that milestone too. So that's
welcome.
fun. How are you? How's Florida treating you so far?
Good. Happy because it's warm.
Does it feel like home a little bit?
This kind of reminds me of Australia.
Okay.
Because I'm from the tropical part of Australia. So I'm from Brisbane, Queensland. So Florida for me feels like it's warm. There's palm trees. It's very chill. So I sort of feel like I'm not at home, but it feels familiar and it feels comfortable. But we started, so we've been on tour for maybe this is our halfway point, just over halfway.
Okay.
So 3 weeks we've been making our way from Minneapolis, like Minnesota, sort of like across the top and like through sort of the Midwest and New York, Philly. It's been so cold.
Yeah.
So cold. I've been sick, as my voice sounds like this as well. It's kind of sexy, husky vibes going on.
I'm with it.
Yeah. But it's just been brutal. So finally, like, we woke up this morning, everyone's in shorts. Like, rigs are out. We're enjoying the heat. So
humidity is good for the voice
we love
too,
it.
right?
Yeah, exactly right.
So do you all, you said rigs outside. So, like, do you all work out outside? I feel like you're the kind of band.
Yeah.
Like, do you just have
we
like
do. I was actually
bench
laughing.
press and everything?
Yeah. I was laughing this morning actually because, I mean, we're Aussies. So as soon as it's warm, the thongs are out, shirts are off.
Which thongs are sandals for us Americans, right? Not like the underwear thongs.
I mean, thongs too. Got some cheeky thongs. The boys are all wearing their thongs. No, sandals.
It's going to be an interesting show tonight then.
Yeah. Sorry. That would have been, everyone's like, what? That's amazing. No, so sandals,
thongs,
shorts. When I say rig, I mean rigs.
Wait.
Yeah. Like,
okay, we're having a language barrier. I'm thinking of like a workout rig.
No.
Like CrossFit rigs.
Yeah.
You're talking
rig.
Tank top?
Talking about body.
Oh.
We call that a rig in Australia.
I did not. Okay, this podcast is about to turn into me learning the Australian language.
Yeah.
So rig is like just your body?
Yeah. So if you get your rig out, that means you're getting like your abs out or your legs out or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So basically painting the picture for everyone now, half naked band, Make Them Suffer, chilling out in the sun. We're playing an outdoor venue tonight as well, which is amazing. So like load in, sound check, everything's just been cruising in the sun. So it's been like a really nice day and a really nice change. And we really needed this. So
enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
The rest of the country is freezing.
It's not going to last that long because we start heading. Well, we go into Texas. We're doing Texas now.
Yeah.
New Mexico. Then we're going to hit the West Coast, north, back into Canada.
Yeah.
We're back. And then Denver, Salt Lake. So
beautiful spots, though. You'll have a good time. Yeah. I also need to check. Yeah, I'm disappointed you're not wearing the cowboy boots that you just got in Nashville.
I know, aren't they amazing?
Yeah, I literally was like, before I call you out for not wearing them. So you had a yeehaw time.
But do they suit Florida? Like, people wear cowboy boots here?
If you rock it, it works.
Yeah, okay,
you know what I mean? If you own it, anywhere.
So none of my tour clothes look good with my cowboy boots.
You got to style those.
I've got to do some more shopping. I need some like sick jeans or like little cut off denim shorts or a mini skirt, just something. Because I've only got like all my baggy tour pants, like khaki utility pants.
Right.
And they just don't hit with my cowboy boots, but I'm so excited because I have always had a thing for country music, cowboys, like the country culture ever since I was little, like a big obsession.
Okay.
I think before I ever wanted to be in rock, metal, any kind of singing, I wanted to be a country singer.
As if?
Yeah. I've never really spoken about this too much, but it was such a big thing for me. I think when I was probably 12 to 15,
okay,
I would go to school every day, dream about going to Nashville. All I wanted to do was sing country music, and I was in love with this country singer called Billy Gilman. He's like very happily gay now, married to a beautiful husband, but my childhood dream was to be his wife and to sing country music with him.
That's so sweet.
And I was so obsessed that I used to make my parents listen to country music in the car. I used to make them take me to a country music club on the weekends, but I was so shy. I was too scared to sing in the open mic. So I would just sit there and watch everyone and just be like, I just want to be a country singer. And I want the cowboy boots. I want the hat, everything. And Nashville was like this mythical place of like, all my dreams would come true. So I've got a really special place in my heart for Nashville and all that sort of stuff. So it sounds really silly, but going into Nashville, buying myself like beautiful, authentic leather cowboy boots, that's like a little symbol to me, like of achieving a goal.
Now I just need like little Alex happy.
Yeah.
No, we just need a country husband.
I just need a country husband. Like that's all I need. Yeah. And then that's basically achieved everything.
Country husband. We need some Daisy Dukes to go with your cowboy boots.
Exactly.
You're set.
Yes.
Was that your first time in Nashville as well?
It was my first proper time in Nashville. So I've been through 2 times before, but we've only ever stayed at the venue. So we had a day off, which we never, ever get a day off in any good city. So we had a day off and we did the full tourist thing, like shopping. We went to Broadway, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and had a lot of conversations with locals as well. And they were none of them were locals. They were all people from other parts of America that have moved to Nashville to fulfill their dream. So the whole thing just felt really special and exciting because the energy there is like, whatever possibilities, it just has like a special feeling.
Oh, yeah. I love that you got to fulfill that for yourself and have really that experience. Happy. And now it makes even more sense because I was like, damn, that's quite an investment. Those cowboy boots, like they're amazing. They look beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, you needed to do that.
100%.
100%. and too, like I know even outside of Nashville, like you seem to have quite an affinity for American everything. Like when I see your Instagram, you seem so stoked to be here.
I do,
so when you do come here on tour, what are the most like pinnacle American things that you just have to have or do when you're here?
Well, the reason I love America so much is I love the vibe of the people.
Hey.
I always feel a good energy. I feel positivity, excitement. There's like a big energy and it just really feels like you can be whoever you want here. No one's really judging you. Americans are very excited to talk to you. They love Australians, so maybe I'm biased because anytime anyone finds out I'm Australian, they're like, oh my God, the Australian.
They're like, good day, mate.
Yeah, no, there's something about Americans I love. It's an energy thing. And I find it really fascinating that every state here is like a different country.
Yeah.
It is crazy, like a different culture in every single place. And this is like the woo-woo stuff, like getting into, we always talk about, or we've previously spoken about manifestation or energy, but I feel like I'm meant to be in America. Like I was here in a past life or something really big is coming for me here and I feel it every time I get here. Wow. I just feel it in my heart.
Like
I can't
a sense
explain.
of belonging and like familiarity almost. Is that what you mean?
Just like it feels like I've come home. I feel grounded and excited, like big things something exciting's around the corner. I always feel like that.
Hey, gut feeling is always right when it comes to like when you feel like you belong in a place or there's something meant for you.
Yeah.
Just gotta figure out exactly what it is. Maybe it's that yeehaw country husband awaiting you in Nashville.
I reckon so. But it's also the friends we meet. Like I love, I love Europe, UK. I have an amazing time everywhere, but I make really amazing friends with Americans. There's just some sort of connection there. And coming back on tour, this is my 4th time here.
Yeah.
We've got friends that I met the first time I ever came to America. They're still coming out, still coming to hang. When they come to Australia, I go to their shows in Australia. So, you sort of meet people and bond for life. And I don't know. Hopefully next time we speak, maybe I'll be like, I live here now. That's my dream.
Oh, I love that. I hope so too. Then we'd be, look, it's a big country, but we'd be more neighbors than we are now.
Maybe Florida, maybe Orlando.
Let's
Could
go.
Be a place.
Manifestation starts now.
Let's do it.
And like you said, you've traveled all over the world with Make Them Suffer, UK, Europe, everywhere. How has experiencing so many different cultures changed you or shaped your life? Because I feel like it changes your worldview so much when you get to experience the world like that.
That's such a great question. And it's so hard to explain. I never used to understand why people would say, I've got wanderlust, or I want to travel again, or I just never used to really understand it. And then being exposed to so much of the world, now I have this feeling of it's never enough. I want more. I want to explore more. And I think the best part is just experiencing little day-to-day moments of being in a random country that we didn't choose. We never really get to choose. We just get given a routing. So we're like, all right, we're going here, we're going there. Whether it's the States, whether it's Europe, you get to see how other people live, and you'd never get that privilege any other way. So you're getting a different perspective. You go back home to Australia and then you realize the world is a lot bigger. People are thinking differently, living differently. There's different things to choose. But for me, it gives me so much joy, but it's created an unsettled, restless heart, because now I have 1,000 possibilities of how life could be lived, and I want to experience all of it.
Yeah.
I want to wake up in the snow and look out. I'd love to have like a ranch in the mountains and look out and see the snow, or live on a beach in Europe, or it's just, so it's like a blessing and a curse.
I feel that. Totally. Especially because the more places I see, the more I'm like, I know so little. I've seen so little.
Yeah.
There's so much more to see. So like you like, as you travel more, you feel like it's inadequate, for me at least. I'm just like, oh gosh, there's so much to see. And two, when you find a place you absolutely love, I don't know about you, but I'm always like, I have to come back. But then I don't want to go back because I want to see something new. It's just like such a trap when you travel like this.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's definitely changed me in a way. I mean, how could it not?
Mm-hmm.
I'm living a dream that I still can't believe I get to do. I still find it hilarious that most of the time I don't know where I'm going until it appears in my iCalendar.
Or like when you wake up and you walk out and you're like, oh, here we are.
Yeah. Or I generally never know what day it is, what country I'm in, what state I'm in a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I love that. So now it's really just, I think it's really taught me not to take life too seriously in thinking everyone around you've got to do what they're doing or think what they're thinking, or, you know, I think it's really important to travel, get out of the country you're from, get out of the state you're from, and go get a bigger perspective. And it makes you maybe a bit more at peace with yourself when you see life can be lived anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I do feel like this weird sense of confidence as I learn more about the world. I don't know, I feel more grounded somehow. I can't explain that, but
yeah. I feel like I can talk to anyone now as well. I think that's a major skill I've picked up from doing so much traveling and meeting so many people.
And understanding different cultures too. Yeah.
And learning the beauty in just little moments with people. At a little cafe in France, a little cafe somewhere, or I love, even, this is so silly, walking into Buc-ee's. Like,
culture shock.
Yeah, it's a big culture shock. I don't know. It's just like, you really learn to appreciate little connections with people. Whereas sometimes when you live in your city, like Melbourne, you live in your life, you're annoyed by people, like, get out of my way, and you're in my way at the bus stop, or you're sitting in my tram seat, or I'm overstimulated. But when you travel so much, you start to see the beauty in everything around you. And that's sort of like the meaning of life. So it sort of gives you like a happiness and a sort of like an overall feeling of really having achieved all that you really could want. Like how could you want more? I don't know.
It's
I don't
like
know
a
if that makes
peaceful
sense.
gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, things that seem so mundane to the locals are so big to us. Like when you travel and you're like noticing these little nuances in the way of life that for other people, they're just breezing through their day.
Yeah.
So I totally get you. It's huge.
Yeah.
And two, I'm thinking even just like the milestones that you've achieved since we last spoke. I mean, again, over 2 years probably since our first interview. And in that episode, I think you were maybe 2 months into your tenure with Make Them Suffer. Like you were so fresh. Yes. And it's been so rewarding to watch your journey. Because like I can see the confidence grow and like you really settling into your place with the band. And now like the self-titled album is out, which is the first album you're on with the band. Yeah. So like how are you feeling now? I want to touch base on that too, because so much has changed.
That's so sweet, because I was just remembering, like, I can see my face in that interview. And you're right, because I had just come back from the first ever tour overseas with Make Them Suffer, and over 2 years on. Now I feel like a road dog. But it's obviously really exciting from a music milestone perspective. It's the first album I've ever been on in my music career. And it's pretty cool because when we released the album, and I'd heard the songs so many times, like we've heard these songs, we've recorded these songs, played these songs, done film clips for these songs for a good over a year. So you forget what you're really achieving. But then I was at work because I still have a corporate job back home in Australia. So I'm in my suit, in my corporate job, and I was sitting in the kitchen making myself a little cup of tea, and I saw our album appear on iTunes. And I was like, oh my God, it's release day. And I'm in my suit and there's no one around. I'm just alone. And I'm like, we put out an album. And there's no one here to celebrate, but it was just like a little moment for me. And I actually got a little teary and I had like a little cry. And I just sort of was like, this is so huge. Like, I can't believe this band that I was such a fan of. I'm in this band now. I'm on this album. How is this real? Like, I still pinch myself at all of these moments. And I think it's such a beautiful album. There's so much magic in all the songs, and I sort of feel like it's a bit of a rough diamond. Like, I think it's the start. We're all really excited to see where the music could go now. It's always hard when you've got someone new coming in as well to, like, how's it going to be received? What are people going to think? But I think overall, the journey just keeps getting better and better. The response just keeps getting better and better. It feels like Make Them Suffer is like, all of a sudden you realize how far we've come again.
Right.
But you don't see it while it's happening. And
it's
then you
so
go,
gradual. And then you have that moment of seeing it on iTunes. You're like, damn.
That's so crazy.
I honestly got chills thinking about it because it's really so cool to see the journey. And too, like, did that experience of really getting in the nitty gritty of the recording creative process bring you all closer too, or like affect the vibe in any way?
That's so funny. Thinking about the recording process, the writing process. I don't do a great deal of writing in Make Them Suffer because I haven't needed to yet. I think the team have a really great creative duo going, like guitarist Nick McClurnan. He writes a great deal of the music, pretty much all of the music, and Sean as well with him. So, and Sean, does all the vocals, does all the clean vocals, does all my parts. And he's it's almost like a privilege to me because I get to, like, when you're a songwriter, you write your own things. You don't really like how it sounds a lot of the time.
Everyone's their own worst critic, right?
And so I'll be like, oh, I hate that chorus that I just wrote. And then sometimes you can't, once you've written one, you can't think of a new one because you keep getting stuck on that previous one. So it's great to have Sean come to me and go, hey, I've got a chorus for you. And I get chills hearing something that someone else has written. And I'm like, that is amazing. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And then I get the privilege to be recording something that I love the sound of, which is really good for me, instead of being like so critical. I knew I could have done better. I could have written, I could have done better on that. So being able to be like the vessel in a way of someone else's creativity is actually, I really enjoy it. And I did wonder at the start whether I would feel less creative, less of a musician, less of anything by not contributing in that way. But I actually don't feel like that. I think a band takes all different parts. Someone's got a smaller role, but together it's equally as important in the big picture.
You're a team.
Yeah, 100%. And it made me appreciate witnessing how they work, how Nick writes. He's a machine, honestly. I spent a lot of time with him back home in Melbourne watching him create the music. He layers the samples. He writes the piano. He does all of that himself. He's like a little musical genius. And so he'll just have he would have a demo on loop and I'd be sitting there watching him and he'd start mucking around, put a layer on. He'd go, maybe I'll play some chords. Yep. Record that in, drop that in, another loop, and he'd put something on top. And he seamlessly would put that together. I'm like, that's insane. I could never be that creative.
Don't say never.
Never. At this stage, I feel like I'm just witnessing and really appreciating that, they've been honing their craft for years and years and years. And these guys are serious musicians. And I'd always, some people might look at Make Them Suffer and be like, do they have like a depth or an intelligence musically, every single person in this band is insanely talented and so laser focused on being good and being professional and being perfect and getting better and better and better. Like, we're a very serious band, even though on the outset we might look like we're having fun and, you know, we're shuffling on stage or being crazy. But underneath all of that, you've got some serious musicians, like, working very hard on the music we're making. So I sort of got to watch that all unfold back home in Melbourne and then in Portland. So last year we did a tour with Parkway Drive.
Amazing.
And last year was actually one of the craziest experiences ever, but we wrote an album in between touring.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 months of touring and then
crazy.
2 weeks we were in Portland. Might have been the year before, actually. It was 2022.
Yeah.
Well,
Our album came out last year.
2023.
What year are we in now?
I know. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was 2023 when this was all coming together. And we're all in this little place together in between tours trying to get this album done.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all been really close from the start. So I wouldn't say it brought us any closer because I just felt like they were my brothers from day one. But it was definitely really impressive to see how much hard work goes into things. And I got my ass kicked, like, which I love. You know, I got my ass kicked.
We know you love getting your ass kicked. If there's one thing I've learned from following you on Instagram.
Yeah, I got my ass absolutely handed to me by Sean.
Uh-oh.
On, you know, try sing this way, try do it this way. And that's what you want. You want someone who believes in you to go, no, I know you can do that. And I'd be like, I can't do that. He'd be like, yes, you can. You know, it's just like brother and sister like going at it. He's like, I know you can sing that. No, Reade. He calls me Reade. He's like, you can do it. So it pushed me to a place that I probably didn't think I could get to either. So
how inspiring, like the mutual respect for each other and the way you all work together. I could just tell how much love and care goes into the process. And that's, I don't know, just really cool to hear the way you speak about them.
Thank you. I actually have genuine respect for every member in the band because they're so good at their instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did not expect that coming into the band. I really thought I was just down to party hard, let's go. And it was like, no.
Business.
You fuck up, you're in big trouble. Sorry.
Ooh, no, you're fine. This is Notfest. You can say whatever you want. But I can tell how refined the process is and how much care goes into it. Because look, I've grown up in metalcore, post-hardcore. Like that's what I loved when I was a teenager, right? But I don't necessarily listen to the genre so much present day. But this is an exception for me. I genuinely love this album so much. And it almost feels like an adult version of what I would have listened to as a kid. I'm like, okay, we've grown up, but we still love a little metalcore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could just tell like how smart everything is on the album, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
of course.
Yeah.
What was really interesting about the process for me as well was it was so bizarre, right? Because we did their first interview a couple years ago. I felt so emotionally invested in you and in the band after that.
So nice.
Like, I've done so many interviews, but there was like a really strange click in that interview. Like we were talking about David Goggins and all these things. I'm like, this never comes up in the podcast. And then serendipitously, which I really do believe like everything just falls into place the way it should. From the time we did the interview to now, I switched companies that I'm working for as a publicist, and I end up on your campaign. I didn't even know that was going to happen.
That is so cool.
I didn't know my company represented you, and I just got assigned it out of nowhere. Like, hey, you're working on Make Them Suffer, and I went,
sick.
That's fucking crazy.
I love that.
Like the day I set up the muscle and fitness thing for you, I was like,
that was so
I was
amazing.
so excited. I was like,
I love you so much. Thank you.
Yes. I
that was like my favorite. Yes. That interview and the first one we did.
So sick.
I still have people say to me now, anytime they watch an interview with me, it's always that podcast that we did. And they were like, that was so nice. Like listening to you guys all talk. That was like a really nice podcast. I think.
Cool.
So it's obviously feelings very mutual for me as well.
It feels really just not a coincidence that I was able to have just the tiniest hand in that album release.
Nice.
So it's just like, in every way possible, so rewarding to see the process and I don't know, just really, really cool. And I'm glad I could get you to talk about CrossFit with somebody. I just needed that to happen.
You are speaking my language. And there's one thing I love speaking about the most out of anything. It's going to be training and CrossFit.
Let's go.
Probably more so than music. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think, I just wish I'd learned earlier in life that physical can manifest into the mental.
Yeah.
It just took too long to understand that. And, you know, you're always trying to improve your mentality and confidence and everything going on up here. It's like, why don't you just start with your body?
Yeah.
Because that's really going to just...
Well, it really is a mind over matter when you're doing really tough workouts. Like sometimes you feel like your body can't do more, but if you change the way you're thinking mid-workout when everything sucks, you somehow get this second or third wind.
Yeah.
And I know you've done 75 hard. I love getting the updates on that. I'm like, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Me watching, I'm like, I wish I could do that.
You could do it.
I know I could in theory.
Absolutely could. Yeah.
Maybe after this podcast, I'll figure it out. Look, I'm going to France next month. Let me just eat all the pastries and do all the crazy stuff. And then maybe when I come back, it'll be my reset.
Yeah, you wanna dedicate some time.
Gotta be focused.
Because I've only ever done it. I've done it twice. And it's only ever been at the start of the year, like Christmas, after Christmas, the first couple of months of the year to set the year straight. But you've got to dedicate so much of your time.
Because it's what? You have to read a nonfiction book every day. You have to do 2 workouts, one indoor, one outdoor.
One indoor, one outdoor for 45 minutes. And they have to be separated by like 3 or 4 hours. So I can't walk to the gym for 45 minutes as my outdoor workout and then train for, which I would do, but you can't do that. So
I wish I hadn't known this information. I could have cheated the system unknowingly.
I know, but that's the thing because I'm a stickler for the rules and I wish I wasn't.
I am too, though.
Yeah. And it's like you got to do it right because the whole point of it is time management, really. It's not physically you can get through it. Anyone can get through it. You can walk twice a day. That's good enough for a workout. If that's all you're able to do, yoga, stretching, that's all you're able to do, then you can do that. But it's just finding the time, you know.
Yeah. And that is such a great lesson in prioritizing the things that are important to you. Like when you choose to do something, you get it done.
The craziest thing about 75 Hard, and people ask me about it. I'm like, I don't know how to articulate this, but I wish I could put this in a bottle and hand it to someone so they could understand. I'm going to try and explain it now. 75 days of dedicating yourself to yourself gives you results most people would not see normal life. Mm-hmm. So it's like the first insight into going, oh shit, if I lock in, look at what I could become. And so experiencing that for the first time for me was life-changing. So I was like, oh, hard work. Mm-hmm. Hard work gets you a result you could never have imagined for yourself. And all hard work is little tiny steps and focus, right? So once you see that for the first time, you're like, I'm in the best shape physically, emotionally, I'm organized, got more energy than I've ever had in my entire life. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you're so proud of yourself that it becomes easy to make the daily choices. I don't want to drink because I'm so invested in this, in my version of myself tomorrow and the next day and the next, and I can already see it.
Yeah.
And I wish there was, I've never experienced that in real life any other time.
That's huge.
I wish I'd experienced it in my early 20s or something, but it's not too late. You know, I'm 36.
Never too late.
So now I know when you lock in, you can become an unrecognizable version of yourself. Yeah. It's not that hard, actually.
And I think we live in a world, too, where everybody sort of feels like a martyr to their job or to, like, external people and pressures and things without realizing if you do invest in yourself, even though it may feel selfish or like it's taking away from other things, it actually, you gain so much in every aspect of your life from doing that. But it's a mindset and it's a choice. So tough.
Yeah.
And we were talking, too, about how really the mental and the physical go hand in hand. And obviously everybody sees like the workouts, but we don't necessarily see the mindset or how that shapes everything else in your life. How has, just your fitness journey, 75 Hard, all these lessons you've learned translated into Make Them Suffer? Because I'm sure it's impacted that too.
It's really weird because you don't expect things to connect. You don't expect things that seem so far away to have a connection and impact each other. But so when I was asked to join Make Them Suffer, it felt completely out of my depth, and learning, buying gear. I did not play keys. Like I did not play piano.
That's right. You learned.
I learned it. And I played when I was young. So I played a lot of piano, violin, sung in classical. Like I did a lot of music until I was like 12.
Which is crazy because I also did piano and violin as a kid.
Yes, that's freaking
man,
awesome.
I was ripping on the violin.
How good is the violin?
Honestly,
when you finally get good.
Best instrument I ever tried to learn. Let's bring the violin into metalcore.
Why do you not play now? Can you?
I don't know what happened.
let's just both buy a violin.
Okay.
And
accountability partners.
Yeah. I'd be like, Tori, did you practice your violin?
I'd be like, show me what you got, Alex.
Zoom. Do some Zoom accountability sessions playing our violin again. But it's such a beautiful instrument, you know.
It is.
And imminence. Anyway.
Yellow card.
Insane. Yeah.
Anyways, so we were talking about how you learned the keys.
So I use like a similar mentality of like, it feels overwhelming. Like, how am I going to like learn everything, man? I'm talking how to patch cables into a freaking snake, what is that cable? What's an XLR? What's an instrument cable? Yeah. What is that, that DI box? What is my pedal board? Building a rig. Okay, I've got my laptop, I've got a launch pad, I've got this software. I don't know how to use Reaper as a session file to practice my instrument. I don't know so it felt overwhelming for me. Learning new songs, singing differently. Yeah. Playing songs, playing and singing at the same time, touring, doing that under pressure, carrying shit. There was just so many things that felt so overwhelming and insurmountable that I had to use like the 75 hard mentality. Like, your only task is this: half an hour, play the song. That's it. And as time went on, and I just had belief in myself. I really had belief in myself from doing 75 hard. I'm like, I know I can do this a little bit every day. Mm-hmm. A little bit every day, a little bit every day. And I also sort of becoming a bit more fit, because I used to party really hard.
Okay. I can't even imagine that from you.
I know. I used to party. It was only in my early 30s, like 30 to 33. That was my rebel years.
That's an interesting point to have rebel years, too. Most people, it's like 20, 19.
I was like an angel growing up. I used to binge drink in high school. We all did, a bit of fun, like little college parties, whatever. Yeah. But I was pretty much an angel up until 30. And that's when I was like, rock and roll, baby. All right, let's party. And so I started partying quite hard, didn't train, didn't exercise. COVID happened, all that stuff. So I probably was known as a wild party girl, Alex, by a lot of my friends. And so I totally flipped that narrative on its head, became a different person coming into Make Them Suffer. And all of a sudden, all the guys are like, because we all partied a bit on one tour and then we all just decided to be fit together. Like, it sort of influenced that too. Mm-hmm. And then they all had it in them. Like, they're all quite fit people in their own way. But it brought into the band, because every day I'm like, well, I'm going to the gym. And like, oh, okay, we'll do it. And we all started doing it together. And so now all of a sudden everyone thinks of our band as like, we're all swole, shredded. Yeah. Which we are in a way. It's a very big thing in the band now, is like, it's totally changed. Like, none of us really party. Mm-hmm. Touring is like fit, healthy. We're cooking good food on the bandwagon. We're like buying our protein, creatine, eating healthy together, going to the gym together. Mm-hmm. Like, it's totally like it goes hand in hand perfectly, actually. Yeah. And then I meet so many musicians on the road now too that come to shows or like in other bands. The way we bond and communicate now is like, oh, that gym, I've got, go here, there's a gym to the venue. Like, most of the conversations I have with all these amazing bands, particularly American bands, it's all about gym.
That's so funny. And like, so opposite sick. Of what probably the general public would expect of like the rock and roll lifestyle or what we're all doing out here.
Yeah, no, it's actually crazy.
It's awesome.
I'm really glad that I changed the belief in myself and like my priorities and my fitness and things before coming in here. I think it would have been a very different an emotional roller coaster.
And it affects the way you are able to perform too. So Absolutely. That's huge. But this is such a great lesson too in the power of community and like having like-minded people around you, because it's so much harder to achieve a goal or do something like 75 hard if you're around people who don't support you or align with you. Exactly. But I guess once you change your own mindset, you can sometimes watch the right people show up. Yeah. Or like, I don't know, just your surroundings change once you change too. So
Absolutely.
That's huge. Yeah. Okay, where are we going with this? I'm like so locked in.
It's all the things I love talking about. And I could just go on and on and on about them. Like,
I actually wanted to ask you because you are so impressive. I mean, the amount of pull-ups you can do in my dreams. I wanted to ask you, what's the craziest or most exciting PR you've hit? For you, what's the one where you're like, I'm so proud of this?
I love this question. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yes. Okay. it's so silly. I feel like I'm talking myself up, but
you have full permission. That is what this podcast is for.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm a little bit of a CrossFit nerd, and I haven't really been able to hit my stride in CrossFit because every time I get really fit again, in between tour, then I have to go on tour. But last year, I did the CrossFit Open, which is the worldwide CrossFit competition, and I had never done CrossFit before in my life, so. I've always done some form of Olympic lifting, like a push press or a clean deadlift, things like that with barbells.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of a strength background, but I've never gone and trained at a CrossFit gym. And so I had just started going to a CrossFit gym for like a couple of weeks, coincided with the Open. So I competed.
You are wild. People CrossFit specific training for like months and months. And you're like, I'm just going to show up.
Well, I just showed up and I did the Open. Last year. And like, granted, okay, the Open, and I know like proper CrossFit people will be like, yeah, but the Open's easy. I get it. But
all perspective though, I think it's challenging.
I actually I competed, got in the top 10% worldwide because the worldwide scoreboard for my, I think, I don't know if it's my age group. It was like really high. I was like, that's insane because I'm on the leaderboard. You can like look up my name and it's on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And I got invited to compete in the next level. Usually it's top 10. They let it be top 25% last year, but I was still in the top 10%, the 92nd percentile worldwide.
Wow.
For CrossFit. And I was like, are you joking? I couldn't do the next part because I had to go on tour.
Wow.
But I can't do bar muscle ups. I can't do handstand walks. So this year I looked at I couldn't do the Open.
You mean you're not just doing handstand walks to like walk on stage every day? Come on now.
That was like the biggest flex for me. Was like I competed in this thing that I'm winging it. Like we had to do the most crazy shit. And I scored so high that I was so upset that I couldn't keep going, but I had to go on tour. So my goal, I guess, would be like I really want to lock in with CrossFit, like really properly train and do really well.
Fun.
But
you're making me miss it. I used to do so much CrossFit. I did CrossFit for years.
You're like my spirit animal.
I know. I'm like, yes. I don't do it anymore.
Why?
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Life focuses change a little bit. Like now I train more so just for like maintaining fitness versus like the way you train, which is like, I'm going to go compete in all the things. I'm like, can I just make sure I can still run and like lift heavy and
that's fair enough.
Do the things.
That's so fair.
But yeah. Something similar happened to me though in a Spartan race. The first time I did a age
You've
group.
done a Spartan race.
I've done a few.
Oh my God.
But back in the day.
You're weapon, dude.
Okay, don't make me do one now though. My grip strength is not where it should be. But like the first competitive one I did, I was like, wait, I ranked a little higher than I thought. I did not. Like I never used to really train the way you should train, but I did CrossFit and that was honestly, if you do CrossFit, you could do those.
Yes.
Have you done those before?
No, I've never done one.
Oh, we need to get you just like out in the mud in a Spartan race. You would probably love it.
I would love that so much. Yeah.
I think we joked in the last interview too about doing one together.
I think we did actually because I remember that's unreal. So you like did really well.
I did pretty well. Yeah. I think it was, I'm not even going to quote it. It was so many years ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you where I landed, but I remember being like, oh, I actually kind of ranked.
That's so impressive.
So much fun.
You're a secret weapon.
I feel like I'm getting re-inspired. Maybe someone watching is also getting inspired. Like, I think I need to rejoin CrossFit. Damn.
So funny. I'm sorry to hijack the podcast, talk about CrossFit, but I'm just like, it's the best form of training. Anyway.
I feel like embarrassingly, we're living up to the reputation of CrossFit people.
I know.
Unfortunately.
We have to talk about CrossFit. All right, no more. That's it.
Yeah, cut off. Let's talk about the album some more, shall we? The tour.
Let's do it. Let's talk about
she's with
stuff.
The bands, not she's with the CrossFit. Well, you are on tour right now. You're getting to play the Is this the first time in the U.S. on the self-titled album?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah.
And I love listening to that album at the gym, first and foremost. It is such an electric album, but it has its ebbs and flows. But it just, to me, feels like the kind of album that's made to hear live and like made for like that energy.
Yeah.
How has your perspective of it transformed in this environment now?
Yeah, I agree. It is better live.
Mm-hmm.
And when you record, when you never want to play the songs on an album live when you've recorded them so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've spent so many hours singing that song. I'm like, I don't want to hear it anymore. But when you get to do it live, it brings a whole new vibe.
Yeah.
seeing people's responses brings a whole new vibe as well. And you learn to love it so much more. So we're playing, I'm just going to give away the songs we're playing.
Let's go.
Whatever.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. We're playing, so Oscillator, obviously Epitaph and Oscillator, which were the songs we released before the album was released. Oscillator is a very, very difficult chorus to sing. It might not seem like it. It's bloody hard. And I always give Sean a hard time. I'm like, why did you write that chorus? It's fucking hard.
Because he believed in you.
Yeah, he did. He believed in me, yeah. But live, it absolutely goes off. Like when we released it, we were like, is this a great song? We don't know. It slaps live. The audience fully get into it. And then we're playing Man of God.
Oh, one of my favorites, by the way.
Like big party vibes. Like crowd goes crazy. We go crazy on stage and Weaponized.
Amazing.
Which slaps live.
Yeah.
Which, again, we weren't sure. Like, you just never know how people are going to react because there's so many other album songs we could play, which we will eventually start to play more. But we were like, let's just put these in. And we can't play them all because we've got to slowly introduce them so we can.
You have a lot of
playing them as well.
Picking a set list with
it's
quite
hard.
The discography.
Yeah,
that's a challenge too.
And it is really hard, but I think we've really nailed this set list. Absolutely bangs. Like and all the shows have basically been sold out, which is insane. I was just looking at our tour poster yesterday. 15th of January, so a couple of weeks before we were meant to start the tour, or like a month or whatever. We hadn't sold out anything. We had a few low tickets, like warnings. That's it. Look now, like I think it's like 20 shows or something sold out of 30. Or like 18 sellouts out of 30 or something.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then people are coming this. And when I play the intro to Weaponize, people like know it. So they're like cheering and we're like, oh, you guys know this? Oh, you've listened to the album? Like I just feel like people won't. So it's still a surprise to me that like, oh, you know this song?
Yeah.
You know our band.
You're at the show.
You know what I mean? But it's still that feel like you're still like, oh, they know it. Like you still get that excitement. So
yeah. Well, so what we've learned is your fans procrastinate buying their tickets, but they do their homework.
Yes.
Essentially.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, once the tour kicked off, we're like dominoes, the tickets were selling, like the shows have been selling out. Like, and as we go more into the tour, people might be observing, oh, they're selling them out. Oh, that looks great. So the ticket sales really picking up for us, which is amazing. And it's just like a full turnaround of what we expected at the start of the tour to be like, maybe we'll sell out a couple of shows.
Stay humble, I guess.
Yeah. To now being like, holy shit. Like, this is really amazing.
And also, speaking of like tour, I am just bewildered that you come in here looking like this when you're literally on tour. You work out every day. Like if I go to the gym, I'm like, well, I can't wash my hair now, or like, the hair schedule, makeup schedule. It's lots of balance.
Yeah, it is.
How do you do this? How do you always look immaculate?
You're so kind.
I'm so serious.
I feel like an absolute road dog right now. I feel like dirty. My hair's dirty. I feel like my voice is fucked. Like everything feels gross, right? But my schedule this morning was I got up extra early so I could look pretty for you.
Oh, thank you.
I started doing like a little bit of a bass, and then it was like load in. We obviously load in our own gear. Like we don't really have that many crew. So it's like, right, every morning load in. So mid makeup, time to load in. So we're bringing all the gear out, loading it onto stage. And then I did like a little soft build of my gear, run back into the bandwagon. And I've got like this little mirror that's literally that big that I sit.
For anyone on audio, it's very small.
Sorry guys. It's like, it's like 20 centimeters squared or something.
Sure.
And I've taken this on like every tour ever. And I put it on the little window booth seat in the bandwagon. I put it there. So I've got like this much. I can kind of see my face because the bandwagon bathroom mirror is like too tall for me. So I can't quite see what I'm doing. So because I'm so short. It's like trying to do my makeup. Then we've got to go to sound checks and I like run out, do sound check. Then I'm like trying to straighten my hair, trying to find clean clothes, trying to be like, do I look good? I don't know. And then we do sound check and then I'm like in an Uber here. And yeah, tour is tough.
Yeah.
It's way more tough than anyone thinks it is. But it's so fun.
Yeah, it's kind of a rush, isn't it?
Yeah. And like, I think it helps I was talking to someone else, like a friend who came to hang with us in Nashville, and he plays in like a much more established band than Make Them Suffer. And he was like saying something about going to Europe. He's like, but I'm worried about what I'm going to do because we've got so much crew and all I have to do is play. So he's like, what do I do with my time? And it's a bit like that on tour because for us in America, we don't have the crew we'd have in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So at least I've got a routine of every day I know load in is load in. We load in together. It gives you something to look. It gives you a reason to get out of bed.
A routine even, which is important on tour.
Yeah. And then you've got like a bit of time between load in and sound check. So then we like build, warm up, but then get some food. So that's like a little like locked in like routine.
Yeah.
Then we sound check and then there's all this time after sound checks. That's usually when we'd like go to the gym, try and do washing, clean the bandwagon,
so
organize.
glamorous.
I know, it's not glamorous. I mean, it's so fun. Goddamn, tour is incredible. But day to day, it's not glamorous. Like, we're not, like, we do a little bit of partying and we have a little bit of fun, but it's not like that day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually. And a lot of the time, we're just on the bandwagon, chilling out, like watching South Park or eating a snack or just doing something really boring.
Right.
Like, it's not... Yes, just like the most boring life if you were a fly on the wall of what we actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun to hear what the routine is for you all, though, because every band's like a little bit different of what they do on tour, how they kill their time. And I've thrown a wrench in the gears of your entire day today. So,
it's so nice
making
to come
it a little exciting.
Yeah, it's so nice that you come and do something else.
Yeah.
Because right now I'd probably be walking around Tampa looking for food. Yeah. And usually our venues are like on the side of the road somewhere. So we're like, we've got to walk 20 minutes or Uber somewhere or like just go to a servo and just pick a snack or something. So we'd probably be doing that, maybe looking for a gym. Yeah. And then we'd just be chilling on the bandwagon until we play. So
fair play. And today your venue's not anywhere interesting.
No.
Sadly, too, because that venue relocated. It used to be in a location where there'd be chickens in the parking lot. Like just,
oh my God.
Just chickens
so
hanging
Florida.
around. It's really not. That is like not on brand for Florida. It's weird.
I always think there's chickens everywhere in Florida.
Where did this come from?
You right now.
No, I'm just perplexed. I'm confused.
Maybe TV.
Maybe, I mean,
or maybe
throw some gators in there too while we're at it.
Yeah, there's gators everywhere, right?
Maybe there's a manatee in the lake.
Yeah, is that not normal for really?
No.
I just assumed that it is like that.
We got lizards.
Yeah.
I mean, there are gators, but like I don't see them.
Really?
Wherever they are, they're hiding from me. Maybe I've scared them.
Maybe
I don't know.
Yeah, they're you just don't know that they're right there. Yeah. Okay, so no chickens, no gators.
Sorry to disappoint.
Oh, it's really
also,
sad.
like, wouldn't the gators eat the chickens? Then there'd be no more chickens.
True.
I've derailed this far out. I'm so sorry.
When I think about it, I don't know if I've ever seen a chicken, but in my mind, I imagine that I have, like in Florida.
Okay. Well, I could give you the address if you want to go find it.
Yeah, so maybe I'm fully like, I'm just pigeonholing Florida. What do you call it? I'm just generalizing. Yeah. Chickens everywhere, gators everywhere. Ew.
What else? What else comes to mind?
Roller coasters.
Yeah.
That's it. Hot.
That's valid.
Sweaty chickens, gators, roller coasters.
Love it.
That's Florida, right?
Honestly, we sound like a really good time.
Yeah,
in
sounds
your
like
mind.
Australia to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just like pretty wild.
But see, like I imagine kangaroos just like out in the city, which also isn't true. And I'm joking.
Well, it depends. Because they kind of are. Like, not in the city, but I could take you on a drive to a suburb and there'd be kangaroos. So we did an Australian tour last year. We had our photographer from Belgium, Sepe. We love him so much.
Shout out.
And shout out Sepe. I just love him. And so we took him to Australia and we were driving like late at night and he hadn't seen anything exciting. And I go, Sepe, look out the window. Kangaroos everywhere. And this is in the suburbs of a city.
Wow.
So they are there. You just need to know like where to look.
That is so exciting. Yeah. I need to go ASAP.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I'm canceling the trip to France. No. No, I've never. Why would I have been to Australia before?
I don't know.
Do I seem like I would have?
You seem like a Miss Worldwide. Like you've traveled. Yeah.
Like I'm like Pitbull.
Yeah. You're Miss Pitbull.
Miss Pitbull.
Florida also. No, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
Florida,
true.
Right?
This is maybe the funniest episode I've done in a long time. Well, I will get over there and I will hit you up and be like, tell me where the kangaroos are.
I'll take you around. I'll show you the kangaroos.
Please.
I'll stay away from the snakes and the spiders.
Yes.
We'll do some CrossFit.
Maybe some koalas.
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
Show you
CrossFit,
those.
we'll do a Spartan race or whatever the adjacent thing is.
Sounds amazing.
We have a great plan.
Notfest Australia.
So
next year.
yeah, Notfest.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
Don't you need a host?
Exactly. So there you go. I've just sorted that out for you.
Amazing.
Manifesting starts now.
Right now, it's
Done.
happening.
Yeah.
We spoke it into existence.
100%.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to end the episode with our rapid fire. I haven't been doing this in every episode anymore, but we did end our last episode of the jaw dropping. And I figured we could make this almost like, how Billie Eilish does an interview every year. And like, you see how her answers change. Since we did this in the first episode,
Yeah.
I want to see how your answers have changed.
Stunning.
So let's see. What is the most jaw dropping experience you've ever had at a show?
Jaw-dropping experience I've ever had at a show.
Could be one of yours or when you went to festival, anything.
Okay, this one's a really easy one. We played Canada. We played Toronto on my birthday 2 years ago when we were touring with Parkway Drive. So we were playing like an arena because it was Parkway Drive. And the band stopped the set, which I did not know about, and they got the entire audience in Toronto to sing me happy birthday. But it was a sunset. So it was thousands and thousands of people. We're on this beautiful outdoor stage because it was outdoors. I'm looking at this golden sunset and I've got a video of everyone screaming happy birthday to me. And it was honestly like I could cry. It was the most beautiful experience. So that would be like, I don't know if anything could ever top that.
What a way to make you feel special.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thousands of people.
You're going to be
singing.
so disappointed now when it's like
I
just a
know.
couple people around
I
the
know.
cake singing you happy birthday. You're like, where's my arena?
I know. Where's my
Hello, don't you know who I am?
Where's my arena? Yeah, that one for sure.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And the most jaw-dropping misstep early in your career and the lesson you learned from it. I don't know, maybe this one will be the same. Maybe not. I don't know.
Misstep early in my career.
Or like just maybe something that taught you a lesson that you've been able to implement now.
Oh, I feel like I've had so many lessons in the last couple of years. Like,
For better or for worse.
I don't want to give away too much, I don't know. I'm trying to think. That is a very tough. And I'm remembering my last answer to you.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that I said last time that I would, a mistake or something I would change was maybe being, I don't know if I said defensive, but I think I said I was maybe a bit shut down in communicating with people.
I think that might have been what you said, yeah.
Yeah, and I never communicated enough to people or something along those lines. But I'm going to go with being too stuck in your ways and being too defensive and thinking that criticism is an attack on you. Really, you've got to peel that away and start to learn. And this is something I've really had to learn probably in my second, third year of Make Them Suffer. When we were recording the album, when we were getting deeper into things, you've got to let criticism wash over you. People are trying to help you. Not people that are not people you trust, like band members, your team, the people around you that you can trust. If they're suggesting changes, trying to push you, let it happen and be malleable and try and trust people and not assume people are attacking you or people like you've really got to learn to do that and to strip away any feelings of defensiveness or being attacked or being threatened or
like there's
letting
no
that
ego.
go.
It's all for the greater good.
Exactly.
Well, I guess you even mentioned that when like Sean was giving you those really hard vocal parts during the recording process and you were like, I can't. Well, like, go do it.
Yeah, he actually said to me at the time, he's like, Alex, like, you've got to stop being so defensive. That was a really important moment because I'm like, well, I trust you. This is obviously something I want to take on board and learn how. So something that I think about a lot. Yeah, so that would be I
probably quite aligned. I'm going to go watch the last episode now and like compare them side by side. And then we have the most jaw-dropping female artist you'd love to work with.
Okay. I definitely can't remember my answer last time.
Good. I don't want you to.
Okay.
We'll compare later.
There's one of two. It's going to be either Courtney LaPlante. She's just amazing. I've met her briefly. Lovely, lovely person.
I've heard great things.
We played a show with them in Australia. She got on stage and did the contraband guesting. She's good friends with the rest of the band because they've toured together. But I'd love to get to know Courtney more. And Alyssa Whiteglutz from Arch Enemy.
Yeah.
Day one idol. She is just a powerhouse, like what a woman. So probably.
We need to get you a suit like her. I think like a onesie situation.
I know she's just so like.
Now your cargos are also awesome.
Yeah, I love my cargo. Yeah. I'm still like refining my visual identity maybe. But no, I really appreciate those two women.
Amazing choices.
There's so many now. There's so many.
Definitely wasn't back in our day.
No.
But yeah, we've come a long way.
It's wonderful.
They're keeping me busy on this podcast.
Right, exactly. It's pretty brilliant.
Yeah. And the last one here, the most jaw-dropping misconception about you that you wish people understood.
Ooh, okay. Okay. I think people think, I'm pretty tough. Maybe. Because sometimes I can act like I'm quite tough or I don't care about things, but I'm very sensitive. I'm actually like a little squishy, super sensitive, actually quite shy, reserved, introverted, sensitive. But I've learned how to do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be like, I'm like way more sensitive than I am tough, actually.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I feel like that ends up being really common with people, like women in our scene too, because of the like tough persona on stage and like the way the music sounds. That like that doesn't mean that's your personality.
Yeah,
that's just the music you make. Alter ego.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aw, a little squishy. I love the way you said that. I'm stealing that.
Yeah, a little squishy. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. This has been like such a joy.
It's always a pleasure.
Flies.
And again, I feel like we could just talk and talk and talk and talk. I want to ask you questions.
Right,
I'm
this
like,
podcast next time, throw us
maybe
out.
next time I should interview you. I feel like we said this last time too. I don't know, but maybe we need to.
That'd be a crazy plot twist.
Yeah.
I'm with it. We will reconvene.
Australia.
I was just going to say, in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe on location at our race in the kangaroo field.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Done. I love it.
I seriously adore you. Thank you so much for your time. And everybody's watching, thank you for being here and joining us again on She's in the Band. Every other week, we're here on Notfest. And keep hanging with us. We'll catch you later. Bye.